Oh, crap. We usually say who we are at the beginning of the episode.
That's going in either the outtakes reel or it's just going to be the cold open of the episode.
Yes. This is the CotWN podcast. We're talking about Precure. Hello, fellow Idol fans, and welcome to the long-awaited return of Cure of the What Now?
Yum!
The one and only show where we know that if you're spending any less than $100 on Precure merch a month, you are doing it wrong, and you need to pay better attention. These are idols that are fighting for our lives. These aren't just idols, these are fightals.
Fake fan alert. I'm sorry, I just had to take a minute to appreciate fightals.
Fightling food on. Yeah.
Same brain.
Okay.
So who are you?
I am your host, Joel, and also I'm the pink one who sings to my dog all the time.
No, you're not. That's me.
Hang on. I'm the stern-faced manager who doesn't seem like he can take jokes.
That sounds more like you. And I am your co-host, Kat, and I'm definitely not filming you without your consent.
Oh, okay. How do I feel about recording a joke that I'm going to bleep out, not even going to put in the bloopers and extras?
I want to hear it. That wasn't what I was hoping for. Not gonna lie. Not going to lie.
That is too bad. So, Cure of the What Now? Yum! It is back, sort of. We're not going to record every episode because not every episode is super interesting to us. I know there are people who watch Precure, looking at you, AU, who enjoys a lot of the different aspects of it. We don't always have something to say for every episode. So going forward, what I want to try to do, and since we're recording this 2 episodes into March, we're obviously not sticking to the schedule very well, but I want to kind of do a episode at the end of each month / the start of the next month where we just catch up on all of the episodes.
This is basically still end of February, so we'll call this our Feb episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, I went the opposite direction. I'm calling this our March episode, and then next will be our April, but we're talking about the episodes that aired in the previous month. There's a chance, there is a 0.0001% chance that I might watch an episode of one of the other Precure shows. But with ReZero and with We Want to Watch Severance and with our lives being so busy, I'm not promising anything, and I won't tell you ahead of time which episode I'm watching.
Sounds
It'll
good.
be fun.
I love the idea of you coming on here and describing the plot of an episode to me, and then I have to guess.
You have to guess. Oh my gosh, yes.
That sounds kind of fun. Really quickly, I know that there have been 2 shows that have come out. There's the Grown Up Girls one, and then there's the Return to Witchy Precure one.
Okay.
We might get around to those. We'll see.
They exist. I kind of forgot that they existed, and then they came out, and I missed them somehow.
Yeah, which was crazy, because we were excited for them, and they're on Crunchyroll, but there have been 2 full seasons of Precure since we stopped. We stopped in the middle of Soaring Sky, finished Soaring Sky, and then started Wonderful and did not finish Wonderful, as I think we mentioned in our catch-up episode.
If you've seen the lineup of cures in that season, we got to about the part when the cat showed up, but not to the part when they won the cat over through the power of friendship.
Yes, the cat did not become a cure, become a boy, become a bird. We do really like this season, though. You and Idol Precure.
You and I like You and Idol Precure.
We do, absolutely. So I'm excited to talk about it. We will see if it continues to grab us as we make it through the season. One of my issues with Wonderful was that the characters felt a little young to me, and I know it's a show for young people, but they felt younger than previous season cures. And so this season they feel more like the normal show.
Yeah, not to be one of those people who's like, oh, Gen 1 Pokemon was the only good Pokemon gen. But I do think that the seasons that we started on, Kira, Star Twinkle, Princess, they have a certain quality. And I swear that the last 3 or 4 seasons have had girls that feel like 3 years younger than the main characters from the other seasons that we really liked. And that might be a conscious effort on the side of the Precure writers. I do not know. I had a really...
Maybe we're just old.
Maybe we are old. I had an idea of how to start this episode, and every time I remembered, I would giggle to myself, but I think it probably should have gone at the very beginning, so I've lost the opportunity to organically segue into it. But here's the great thing. I can just say, I don't have a segue for this, and then just kind of start.
And then just start it, sure.
All right.
I think you were talking about us needing an opening or something.
Oh, yeah, we did used to have, what was it? What do you call it? bespoke. We used to have bespoke openings for every single season. So it would have to be something like, this is the CotWN podcast. We're talking about Precure. How's that? Is that about the right melody, rhythm, harmony? I don't know what any of these words mean.
Not quite, but I could tell you tried.
Was it the right treble bass?
I think everyone listening will be able to tell that you tried.
Okay, yeah, my heart was in it. That's actually not the joke that I wanted to open up with, actually.
Okay.
I guess that one should have been the cold open, and then this one was supposed to be like, right after I've introduced myself, but... I am back, and I have downloaded every episode of Precure into my brain. Please ask your Precure questions.
Who is best girl?
The best girl is Anana Zukaru, the mysterious green cure from the 7th season of Precure. She fights only with her kickies. Her hands cannot be damaged.
I think this large language model is broken.
Ask me another question about Precure. You have 2 questions remaining on your free trial.
Is it possible?
No. Ask your next question. I knew this joke was going to make it. I knew it was going to be a grand slam.
How do I find the burger cure?
You must seek out the ultimate golden patty. You must find all of the ingredients, 12 rainbow-colored ingredients scattered throughout the land. You must put them on the burger, and you must partake of the burger. You must share it with at least 4 other girls who will ascend to Burger Girl King. Burger. The model's crashing.
That wasn't a bit. He really did just stop working. We did go to Wendy's.
I promise you that we are never going to find our lost brain cells. We are never going to be normal on this podcast. That's our promise to you.
Not one time. I don't think people listen to us for normalcy, though. Like, if they've gotten this far into listening to us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we normally do a discussion question. Would you like to count that bit as the discussion question?
No, we can do a discussion question. Do you have one?
I have a discussion question. If you were going to be a musician or idol, something related. I guess you should probably focus on idol, but my brain immediately went to instruments. What kind of vibe do you want to put out? Would you be a solo artist or in a group? Like, what's going on?
I don't handle group projects well, so I think I'd be a solo artist, and I'd want to be like Genki girl, high energy. Like, my shows are just always at a 10.
Okay,
and we're zooming.
And do you have like a specific genre, or is it just energy?
Pop punk.
Okay.
No, I'm a Buki. I hate that.
I'm sorry, can you remind me?
Danganronpa?
From Dangan...
3?
Oh.
V3.
No, Ibuki was the second one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, fake Danganronpa fan.
Fake Danganronpa fan. You probably don't even know what flavored donut Aoi prefers. I don't know. I don't think I would want to be in a group because... You know, the anxiety and the depression, I don't want them to expect too much of me, and I'm not much of a music person. But I think that I would probably... Man, I don't even know. Like, I listen to a lot of nerdcore on YouTube, and at one point I even bought a little, like a synthesizer to try to, like, play around and learn how to do the doot-doots on the keyboard. It would be kind of interesting if I could do songs about that. The problem is with the ADHD brain, I don't know how long I could keep committed to a project. But yeah, I think I would like to have like red as my attire choice. This is just my Precure OC. And I would want to also be kind of like energetic rock songs, like rock anthems.
Okay, yeah, you'd be playing like Sonic the Hedgehog butt rock songs.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Ayu will have to answer this for us since Ayu is our resident Japan culture
She
expert.
is truly the one who has downloaded all of Precure into their brain. I was doing that as a bit. But I think other people have.
Yeah, Ayu would be able to tell me where the legendary burger cure was and wouldn't crash out. No, but I think
I got most of the way through the answer. You can figure out the rest from there.
You've gathered the 12. Pink. I'm sorry I embarrassed you. No, but I think idol kind of implies a genre. Like, as far as I can tell, they all kind of sound like the same. But that could be because I'm not living there.
It could be that you only see, like, the really big ones that are, like, the boy bands that all the girls are, like, hearting.
Right.
Stuff.
Like, are metal bands still called idols in Japan? Or is that its own thing? So I'd be very curious to hear from AU.
You might be surprised what you might learn through watching the rest of Dan in future seasons.
Dan.
Okay, but this isn't a Dan episode. Hang on. Wait, I have a document for this.
Joel doesn't even know what episode it is.
Okay, so normally we do a succinct summary of the episode or episodes we just watched. We did not plan on doing this episode until we were 3 or 4 episodes into the current season.
Wow,
of You and
peek
Idol
behind the
Pre-Care.
curtain. You could have just pretended.
Yeah, here's the thing though. I can't pretend to do a succinct summary of the first couple of episodes. I'm going to be like, there was a man who got inside of a peach, and he wasn't Precure. His name was something that sounded like Precure in Japanese, and that's all I remember from episode 1.
Also, the fairy is crazy.
The fairy is our ADHD lord.
She be wilding. They be wilding.
I don't know. Apparently, the pronoun has not been given, but I cannot look at Pururin and see anything but a girl. I don't see a boy.
There is no visual gender. Pururun is an NB king.
Okay.
Queen.
NB monarch. Yeah.
I don't know. Language is gendered.
Okay. So far what we have is we have a girl who likes to sing, and she's brought back Kira, but it's not the same Kira. It's Kira La, I think, maybe?
Kira Lala.
Okay.
Kira Lala.
And then there's another one, though. There's one that's like what she sings, and then there's another one that the bad guys are after. But she likes to sing. She's a bundle of energy because she's the pink cure. Of course she is. And she becomes an idol with the fairy Pururun. And her final attack is her doing an idol show. She brings, like, the positive energy back into the hearts of people who have lost it. I honestly couldn't tell you what, like, theme they're trying to go with, you know, because, like, in Kira Precure a la mode, they were basically taking people's, like, motivation, kind of. That's sort of what it felt like.
Right.
I guess there was another season where they explicitly were taking motivation. But I don't know what is being taken from these people. I think it's just kind of like their joy, and the final attack brings joy back, and the fairy films it, because the fairy is Cure Idol's #1 fan. And because she was taped, and because it was put on YouTube or whatever the legally distinct version of that is in the Precure world, she has fans. So the first fan she meets is a woman named Nana Aokaze, who is a pianist who made a mistake, one mistake, and now she's thinking of ending her career because no one has ever made a mistake once in their life.
No, you're not good at the piano if you've ever made a mistake.
But then it turned out that she had a fateful reunion. She had a fateful meeting with another girl when she was much younger who basically taught her to don't sweat the small stuff, kiddo. And it turns out that was Sakura Uda, a girl who went to piano lessons, played like 2 notes badly, and then started singing because she likes singing.
Love her.
I deny that Nana could have... Is it Nana? Yeah. Nana could have possibly forgotten that girl. That would leave such an impression that 5 years later she'd be like, you're the girl from that thing that one time. But she eventually overcomes her stage fright, her perfectionism, and she becomes Cure Wink. They meet a man who is like, you guys are Precure, aren't you? And they're like, no, we're not. We're not Precure. These Precure are probably the worst I can remember at keeping their secret from their parents.
They're so dumb. We'll get into it.
And but this man, he goes, hey, I want to be your manager. And they're like, you want to be our manager? And he goes, oh, by the way, I'm a fairy. And they're like, you look like just a regular ass man. And he goes, no, I assure you, I'm a fairy. And he actually is. The credentials check out.
Yeah, Kira Land has a branch office in this town, and he was just vibing when everything bad happened, so now he's stuck here.
I actually really like that as a joke, that they have just like this normal place, this normal office, and they don't do much. And then suddenly the world started ending, and like, oh, now they actually do things. That's Tanaka. His fairy name is Tanaka-kan. And then the latest episode, we meet a dancing girl who's a first year at the school. The other two, Uda and Nana, are second years. So she's her Koharu, is that the word for it? The opposite of a senpai?
Kohai.
Kohai.
Ayo, if we're wrong, you can tell us.
Absolutely. But she looks up to the Precure, and she doesn't know why. It reads extremely gay. But she meets them.
She even says it's like love at first sight. This is not us projecting.
Right. But she meets them, and she's like, oh, I want to join your group. And they're like, cool, you can join the group. And then she sees them fighting, and she goes, oh, this is not my vibe. I thought I was just going to be singing and dancing. So that's where the 6 episodes ends, and that has been your Succinct Summary.
Beautiful Succinct Summary, as always, my love. Let me ask you, of the characters we've been introduced to, who are you vibing with? Who's your girl?
I mean, we've had the most time with Uda, and she is a wonderful pink cure. Blues will probably never, ever be my favorite, but Nana is okay. But of all of these characters, I'm going to have to go with Kokoro. That's the purple-haired girl who's the first year, who's going to obviously be the next cure.
I really liked her energy when she was a background character.
Right.
She was a little less like chaotic goblin energy when she actually was on screen.
Right.
But the first time I saw her talk, I went, that girl is another Laura. She doesn't pay taxes.
She will commit fraud.
Exactly.
Do you think she actually bought all of that Precure merch? No. No.
She made it, it's unlicensed, and she's selling it.
Yes, 100%. Who do you like the best?
I really do like Uda a lot. Special shout out to Chokirin, the female villain.
Yeah, who hasn't done anything yet.
Nope, but she's there, and she looks fantastic.
Hang on, I think her name is Chokorinu, and I think Chokorine is the name of the team.
Maybe. I've never heard them make the ooh sound at the end of her name, but I believe
fair.
you. Anyway, I like her a lot. We'll talk about the villains here in a minute. I really like purple cures in general. That tends to be my favorite. Something I like about Nana is the blue one is always the smart, capable one, right?
Usually.
And of the two of them, she is the smart, capable one. But they are both idiots. They're both middle school girls, and you can tell.
100%. This is not related at all to the characters. This is just a miscellaneous thought. Don't know where to put it. I really like I don't know what you'd call it, the bubble animation. Like when they're trying to show one character's emotional reaction and they show up in the corner of the screen, they just go, wow, super cute chibi design.
Adorable. I really like the way this whole show looks. Like, good costumes, good girls.
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess that for like very brief introduction to the characters, I think that works out fine. I agree with you that Nana has good backup energy. Like, she complements Uda's kind of stupidity in different ways. The episode where they were trying to spy on the hot idol boy, and she was clearly not cleaning the table at all, but like leaning over to try to listen to what he was saying.
Oh, my boy. I forgot to mention him. He might be my favorite character, actually.
I should put his name on the character sheet because he's probably going to keep showing up.
That would be helpful, I think. He's a silver-haired idol man.
Yeah, and he clearly used to be a precure. Him saying like, oh yeah, I was touring overseas, that was him fighting a bad guy.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that he was the Zensetsu no precure.
Absolutely. Tsubasa kind of waddled around so that this man could fly.
When he showed up and they were like, oh, what drove you to be an idol? I made a joke about how he had a childhood best friend who was sick, and he made a promise to that childhood best friend that they would both become famous in their fields and they would meet back up, and she's dead now.
Oh, she fell down the stairs in the English version, even though that's true in every version. Never mind.
But that's Full Moon wo Sagashite, which is
also Zoro and Kuina from One Piece.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite magical girl anime of all time, and you guys should go watch it. Did we ever do a Full Moon episode?
No, we didn't.
Maybe we will.
Maybe we will. All of the episodes, last I checked, are up on YouTube, so go check that out.
Cool. But yeah, he's super cool. I'm excited to see what they do with him. I am with you that I think he's going to be the Zensetsu no Precure. Did you have a scene that stood out to you from these episodes?
Hang on. I took notes very sporadically. They're not organized at all. Let me see. Yeah. No, I don't have any particular scenes that I wrote down. I thought it was very funny in the first episode when Uda is like trying to help Pururin look for the guy or the precure, and they find a guy whose name is very similar, and he gets in the peach, and then he comes back the next day. He's like, I'm not Pretty Cure. My name is, Pritu Kurin or whatever.
Yeah. I really liked that. The whole first episode was hilarious.
I think it was pretty good.
Pururun is so chaotic. They have
ADHD
no idea what they're
energy.
doing.
Mm-hmm,
yes.
Mm-hmm. I mentioned, that they're bad at keeping secrets. Mipple and Mepple and whatever Fluffle and Flipple from the next season.
Isn't it like Floop and Fleep?
Yeah, eventually there was a floop and a fleep, I think. But I would trust those fairies to keep a secret. They would transform into a cell phone so that no one would notice. But Purun is just out here just like flying up to random dogs and be like, oh my god, I love that dog. And then people look at them and they're just like, I'm a stuffed animal. Hello. I'm so cute.
You're going to get tired of Purun in a couple more episodes, I think.
You think I'm not already?
You haven't been as vocally complaining about them.
That's because I'm trying to focus on the positives.
Well, good.
2025.
Tell me something positive about Purun. Their design is cute.
Their design is very cute. Their chaotic energy usually works for me. I know there are characters who are designed to be annoying, or they're supposed to be funny because they're so over the top, or this, that, or the other thing. But at the same time, if they interfere, if there's a world of sane actors and they're the only insane character and they're over the top and they cause problems and they never seem to recognize that they're causing problems, that really grates me. So Purun is funny in small doses, but the more they keep messing things up, the more I'm going to be like, all right, put them in a box, ship them away, get a better fairy. There's got to be another fairy that we can take.
Well, and we already know there's a better one. Taka Khan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's right there.
The man who has never cracked a smile once in his life.
Well, that's because he's been working as a salaryman, and as we all know, working is shit.
Absolutely. Gosh, the girls would not survive in the Jujutsu Kaisen world.
No, why would you do that to them?
Itadori could probably make it as a precure.
Itadori could be a precure. He'd be better at that than at being a Jujutsu sorcerer. But not vice versa, I don't think.
No,
The despair would be overpowering.
All right, so let's talk about the villains, unless you have anything else that you want to talk about.
No, let's talk about the villains. Team Chokurine.
Yes.
They got scissors.
I wish that I knew enough Japanese to understand the puns that go into these names. I am sure that Chokurine must mean something, and their leader, Dokariki or something. Like, I'm sure one of those is actually like, to dash your dreams upon the stone or something. But we have 3 of them so far. They serve a mysterious dark mistress who was probably an idol who got stage fright, and now she wants to destroy all idols or something. But there's a sexy lady character, because they're always pretty well-designed female characters. She has done nothing so far. She blames the other 2 for all of their failures, and she's the one who has to report that to the mysterious boss.
She's pretty much just out here providing step-on-me energy.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have the other 2, one of whom is named Cuddy, and he says he used to, for the first couple of episodes, he would say his name at least once an episode. He'd be like, I'm Cuddy, because his thing is that he cuts in line because his name is Cuddy, and he does this little, like, Cuddy thing with his fingers. The other guy has shown up, I would say, less often, and I did not think he had a name, but on the wiki, he's listed as something. Hang on, let me check it. Hang on. Zachary, apparently.
Zachary. That doesn't mean anything with cutting, I don't
think so either. I thought his name was going to be Chop, because when he shows up, he goes, I'm going to roughly chop them, or something.
Now, I looked at this man, and I made you pause the episode, and I went, Joel, I don't know what it is about his design, but it's giving homophobia. Like, he feels like a homophobic caricature of, like, a gay stylist.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I can't tell you, like, what it is, but I look at him and I'm like, that's homophobic. Just the whole character.
You don't have the proper truth bullet to shoot that contradiction, but you know that someone else could.
Right, exactly. I feel it in my heart of hearts.
Right, yeah. I kind of like Cuddy's arc as much as you can say that he has one. He seems to now be really interested in Cure Idol, and it has sort of like secret fan who doesn't want to like admit that he actually likes this girly music type of energy. And I wonder if he's going to turn to their side at some point, or that's how they're going to ultimately defeat him. I don't have any opinions about Zachary. He's just kind of there. Definitely he's less interesting than Cuddy, in my opinion.
Yep.
They don't like each other. They've got the Zoro Sanji Sonic Shadow thing going on.
I'm thinking Cuddy might be defeated in either the next episode or the one after that. So, like, next episode, we're going to get our next cure, I think. We'll spoiler out her name, but I want to talk about that because I have some feelings. But next episode, we'll get our next cure, and I think he will either be ultimately defeated when she joins, or it will be the following episode when we get the first group attack. If we get the first group attack.
We
that
will.
Soon.
Yeah. Here's my idea about spoilers, because I don't want to spoil anything for people who are listening, but I think people who are listening probably already know more than we do because they probably listen to like press announcements and stuff. If it is something that you and I could see in America on Crunchyroll, it's open. It's not a spoiler to say that next episode is called like She's Here, Kyor Kyun Kyun, which is probably the dumbest name I've ever heard.
Exactly. I saw that and I went, are you fucking kidding me?
They gave us Cure Idol, and I went, okay, she's an idol, she's a pre-Cure, she has the name Cure Idol. And then they were like, here's the next one, Cure Wink. And I went, that's a bad name. Boo, boo and hiss, thumbs down. And then they went, do you want to see an even dumber name? I'm like, you can't do dumber than Cure Wink. And they went, oh, no. This is even worse than, what was she, Cure Pineapple or whatever? Cure Papaya?
Cure Papaya.
We were supposed to be positive about these things. But anyways, Kyor Kyun Kyun is absolutely not a name that works for me. But her design is great. And she does a heart that I think I could do. You know, I can't do the Gen Z heart.
No, you can't do the 3 fingers one?
Maybe I can. Anyways, my point is that even though I think the name is silly, that doesn't mean that she is necessarily a silly character.
Absolutely. Sorry, I got distracted trying to do Cure Idol's heart. I could do it.
Fantastic. Yeah. Do you want to just like upload a picture of just like the heart of your fingers to the thumbnail?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we can focus. But yeah, Cure Kyun Kyun, Cure Pop, Cure Jazz, Cure Rock. There are all sorts
Cure
of music.
Cure Calcione or whatever it is in the...
Yes, exactly. Humming, woo woo. Yeah, I don't know.
Jazz rock, woo woo.
Woo woo woo. The opening and the closing.
Yes.
The closing goes so hard.
The closing is one of my favorites in a while. Although I say that, and then someone will play another closing that I really like, and I'm like, oh, this one slaps too.
So we have the opening, we have each of the Cure's big attack songs, and then we have the finale. Do you have a favorite song of those?
Yeah, the finale, absolutely.
Finale is super good. I really do like Cure Idol's song, though. Like, the energy she has, she's very cute and bouncy. And
it's very cute when the Makuranda of the episode is waving their little idol sticks.
Fans?
Fans, maybe?
Oh, no, they have the glow sticks.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that is adorable. And, here's something that I had on my notes app that I can now delete. I really like the way that Idol does her wind-up to a punch. We are back to a season where they're allowed to punch. I think they've been allowed to punch the last couple of seasons.
Thank God for violence.
But I think that the way she does it is particularly cartoony, and I think that is a good thing.
Yes. I was going to make a point about thank God for violence, so I'm glad you brought it up. Girls just want to rampage, you know?
Right. Also on the note of, like, their designs, their character traits or whatever, I really like the way that Uda's hair looks when she's transforming. It's kind of a little sprawled out, kind of bouncy because she's jumping around. And then she gives the most Bugs Bunny kind of grin. Like, it's like a cheeky kind of like, hee, I'm gonna punch you and you're gonna love Idol music. And she does that smile during her finale song, her attack song as well. And that's a good design.
She's adorable. She's just a flawless protag. What else you got for me?
Hang on, let me see. Start the episode with I've downloaded all episodes. Yeah, the ending song is amazing, so you actually beat me to that one. Okay, episode 4. Episode 4 specifically, because I didn't number them earlier, that's the one we alluded to where there's a older idol boy, and I really like the way that they're doing Uda's crush on him. It's not like she spends every episode being like, he's so dreamy. I could see it being read as friends. I don't think that she actually wants to date him, but it's clear she has like a crush the way that a lot of us do when we're first kind of at that age where we're like, oh, this older person is so cool, I want to marry them or whatever. But he shows up, and they're trying to learn what it is to be an idol. And the answer is to love it with all your heart. But he works at the cafe with them, and they are spending all this time with them. And what I have written down here is that in the actual episode that we got, Cure Idol is very, like, starstruck by him and doesn't know if she can measure up to him and is afraid of talking to him and whatever. And at the very end of the episode, she finds her courage and she goes, hey, what's most important? He goes, I want to bring smiles to people's faces. He was a pre-Cure, mark my words. I think it would have been better if Nana, our blue Cure, was the one who was overthinking it. Maybe she could be a little reserved, a little bit like, oh, it's hard for me to talk to people because what if I'm rude? You know, she could be a little bit anxious in that way. And I think it would make sense if Uda was the one who has no fear. It's just like, I'm going to go talk to him. What does it matter? Like, so what? He's an idol. He's not in costume right now. He's not performing. He's just a guy. So I'll ask him. I think that would have worked better for me personally.
Yeah, and it would have flowed with the pink cure, blue cure energy a little better.
Okay. Do you have anything else? Because I have one kind of like final thought that's related to like other pre-cure seasons.
I don't think so. I think moving forward, I want to kind of structure this like we did before. Like, what were the big standout moments? Did anybody have like character progression? Best joke, maybe? So I'll try to keep better notes.
100%. Looping back, though, I will say I think I disagree with you, Cuddy being on the cutting block, so to speak, the chopping block, but the other guy's the one who does, the betrayal was written right there in their catchphrases. But I don't think that the shows defeat generals anymore. Well, Soaring Sky did.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty regular thing to have happen.
It didn't happen in Princess, for example. I mean, I guess in Princess they were reborn in different forms or whatever. Okay. My point is that there's only 3 of them, and I don't see them actually, like, eliminating them unless they're going to do what Futariwa Max Heart did, or the second half of Futariwa did, where they're like, by the way, here's more generals you didn't know about. They just came out of the darkness. I think we're going to be with these 3 guys for the rest of the season. They might have a power-up moment. You know, they get, like, the bad fruit, and they take a bite of the bad fruit, and they go, and then their skin turns red or whatever, and now they're stronger. But I don't see them defeating any of them, and that's just a vibe that I'm getting.
All right, yeah, I mean, you could be right. I like the idea of the 2 men getting defeated, and then we have the female villain for a while.
Okay, yeah. I kind of like the idea of, I know that the bad guys are out to destroy happiness, so they can't have their own form of happiness. I'd really like it if the bad guys were like a dark idol group. I don't know what that would look like. Maybe they would sing their songs and would like hypnotize people, and then they could like drain their life force or something. I swear we had a season like that earlier. But anyways, I think that would work better for the theming than whatever's happening here. Scissors to cut people's ribbons, hearts.
So ribbons are a big motif in this season because I guess idols wear cute ribbons.
Yeah.
And so the bad guys cut the ribbons. I don't like it.
I don't quite understand.
It's a sell toys motif is what it is.
It absolutely is. Oh, and the food this season, because we had donuts for Star Twinkle, and we had, I don't remember other seasons. I've completely forgotten all things about Precure. That's the problem with downloading all of Precure's knowledge into your brain, is that it overloads you, and all the details over time just kind of slip away.
So you don't have it all downloaded?
I don't have it all downloaded anymore. I did for that moment in time. And then you asked one too many questions and the free trial expired.
Oh, dear.
No.
People will have to subscribe to your OnlyFans if they want more.
Oh, boy. But yeah, I don't quite get what the theme is going on here with the scissors and the bad guys and whatnot. So this isn't exactly our final thought. But here's something that I wrote down that I don't think is related at all to what we're doing. Maybe it's related to the silver-haired boy that we met. But what about a season where we get the new Precure? The first episode starts with her meeting a fairy, and she becomes the pink cure, and she fights bad guys. But this is a world in which there are already pre-established Precure, maybe just one, and that one has been fighting bad guys for like 3 years. Like, she's older, and she could be a mentor figure to our character. And the bad guy, there'd be a big bad who the older Cure is fighting, but then the big bad has like children or something, or like he created an evil clone, but it's younger and weaker than he is, and that's what our Cure has to fight. So she could do things like she shows up to a battle in the second episode and she forgot her transformation item, and the older one could be like, always have your transformation item on you. What are you doing, girl?
I really like that. Isn't that the plot of that one anniversary season?
Which anniversary?
With the weird animation.
Hugto?
No.
What are we talking about?
Hold on. I got it.
Because Soaring Sky was the 20th anniversary.
I told you I got it. Just wait. It's not Hugto.
I think it's Hugto.
It's not. It's Happiness Charge.
Happiness Charge.
Happiness Charge. Precure.
Did we watch that one?
I cure whatever. Am invincible. Cure lovely. We watched the first episode of it. The first couple. No, we watched it. We did, because we talked about how cool the villains were. But no, because there's the purple Cure who's like been a Cure for a while, and they're like, oh, she's so cool. We wish we could be like her.
Oh,
and then
we
she
didn't
tells
finish
the other
it,
ones
though.
They suck.
We never got to the part. We never even met the. Yeah, we never found out what Hime's like backstory was. It was apparently very, very serious and very dark, and it definitely wasn't something like she tripped on a banana peel and now she's embarrassed about it.
She's in love with her brother, but they can never be together because that's wrong.
It's not that kind of an anime.
I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we have had seasons like that. We also had it with, what was the season where they fought the devil? at the very end. Heartcatch Precure.
Oh,
There was an
yeah.
older Precure in that season too, who also was very like, I guess both of those seasons, and we never finished Happiness Charge, but both of those seasons had like an older, grumpy established Precure, and I guess that makes sense. But I'm thinking about just like another pink cure who is something to aspire to. If you've ever watched Sequelitis on the Sequelitis episode on Mega Man X, Aaron Hansen talks about how Zero is like the character that we want to be, and by the end of the game, we have surpassed Zero in his ability to fight whatever the evil robots are called, Robot Masters maybe. And so I want something like that, where there's like clearly like an All Might type character that our character looks up to, and then by the end, it turns out that they have more heart magic than the original Cure. Maybe the original Cure is really good at fighting and really good at defeating the monsters and never gives up, but is not good at gathering friends. And that's what our girl is there for. She's kind of weak on her own, but she can find other Cure and she assembles a team. And you could even have an episode where our girl goes to the older girl and goes like, hey, there's this other girl, I think she'd be really good at fighting monsters. And she'd be like, no, you can't tell anyone about your secret. What? No.
Stop
and
it.
then she watches them fight a monster together and she goes, there's strength in numbers? I wish there was some kind of common phrase that I could have heard that could have taught me this lesson.
Oh gosh, I love that.
So now, to close out the episode, do you have any predictions?
I think the dog will be the fourth cure. Uda's got a dog.
Uda's
Maybe it'll
golden
transform.
retriever kind of dog. I mean, he does bark it with her when she sings.
See what I mean? No, not for real, though. For real, I'm very interested in what we will see from, like, a mid-season cure. I like the idea of there not being one in this season. And I couldn't tell you why, but I like it being a 3-girl team.
Okay, yeah, I could get behind that. I feel like we're always going to get a mid-cure. It's just one of those things, like, you just got to. Like, the next Dragon Ball villain who shows up is going to have a second form. That's just how Dragon Ball works internally. But, you know, I would be open to it if it was well done. My problem with Precure is sometimes it feels very repetitive. And maybe that's why Kira Kira Precure All Mode Longest Title Ever worked so well for me, because there were so many characters. You could do an episode with the Pudding Girl, and then you could do an episode with Owie, and then you could do an episode with the lesbian couple. Whereas if we only have 3, I am worried we'll run out of things for them to do in ways that their characters can progress. Here's an idea for mid-season Cure. An overseas idol. And they come to Japan, like episode, 18 or whatever, and then they take a couple of episodes to, they take a couple of episodes to warm up to the Precure. Would you look at that? It's like history runs in cycles. How do you think Kyun Kokoro is going to get over her, I want to say PTSD, that's not it at all.
She's going to be under attack, and then she's going to be like, I got to dance these bad feelings away. And she'll start dancing, and her heart will go Kyun again, and she will go, I was born to dance!
Okay, that's not a bad one. Here's my prediction. I think, because right now she's like, I don't think I can fight. She thinks that fighting is incompatible with being an idol, or seeing fighting does not make her heart go Kyun. I think that the person who's going to get Zetsubode or Makaronda'd next episode will be someone close to her, and she will see them fall into despair, and then the other 2 girls will be like, listen, this is what happens. This is what the bad guy does. Yes, singing is part of it, but we also need to save her life, and we can't do that with just our voices. We need to do a big punch, and I think that's what's going to kind of convince her to don the power. Also, part of me was wondering if she was just like, I can't fight because I don't know how to throw a punch. Babe, the magic just teaches you how to throw a punch. You don't actually have to know. The transformation handles it for you.
I am glad we're getting a refuse the call character.
Yes, absolutely. We need to explore more, like, what does it look like for a character to, like, oh, I agreed to transform, and now I get older and I can jump 50 feet in the air. That's kind of interesting. We don't have to go full Madoka, but you can have more variety with how people interact with this series.
Absolutely, and I think that has been your
final thought.
La, la, la. Don't forget to stay.
We are doing an outro now. What?
Kira la la.
Kira la la la
Kira la. It doesn't
la,
come out as well when you're speaking in English.
No. All right, everyone. Have a good night.